Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to this week's episode of How to Attain Enlightenment. I'm Erica Blackbear, and I will be your host. Last week's episode kind of segues perfectly into this week's episode, so I want to talk about manifestation as a concept because this has been really important. I have more recently gotten into watching other people and learning about manifestation as a concept because I realized I wasn't doing it right. It wasn't that I wasn't doing it right. It was that there were things in the way of my manifestation. Like I knew how to manifest, but I didn't see all of the things that were blocking my way to my manifestation. Like I mentioned in the last episode, Abraham Hicks is one of them that just makes sense to me. It's very clear and direct. Bashar also, they're kind of the same, but Abraham Hicks is slightly different than Bashar. Bashar says, follow your excitement to the best of your ability without having any insistence on the outcome. So your manifestation would equal your excitement in that scenario. You would use his formula for it. Abraham Hicks is kind of similar. So you set your intention, you put it out into the universe, and then the universe is literally delivering it to you, right away. And I've watched other videos and other people, those are just two of them. The law of assumption factors into manifestation, meaning that you put yourself in the mindset that you just assume that your manifestation is on its way to you and it's just a matter of time before it shows up in the physical. You get yourself in the mindset of it's inevitable. It's about to happen. It's right there. Not about to happen. That actually keeps it away. Don't say about to. Like it's here, and you just kind of have that mindset, and you hold that mindset until it shows up in your physical reality. Now, one of the things that I've noticed with people who talk about manifestation is that people in that realm are always saying that your manifestation will manifest instantly as soon as you are in the right mindset. And my experience has not been that. Now, I've had to do a lot of work around my mindset for sure, but what I've also learned is that may be true for smaller manifestations. Like say you're like, I want $1,000 by the end of the month for my bills or whatever. And those types of manifestations, yes, they can be instantaneous as soon as you're in the right mindset. However, if you are manifesting a huge manifestation like I am with multiple different aspects to it and multiple different pieces to the manifestation, that is not always the case that it will show up instantly, even if you're in the right mindset. And I'm saying this because I feel like the mindset coaches are, they're trying to sell you their product, obviously, but I feel like it can really deter people from continuing on their manifestation path if they think, okay, if I'm in the right mindset, my manifestations should be instantaneously showing up. Because even Abraham Hicks talks about this. And I find that part of it to be off-putting because that's not always the case. And like I said, with smaller manifestations, sure, they'll show up pretty quickly. But when you're working with a huge manifestation like I am, and I'm working in conjunction with spirit, and I am giving it over to spirit, which is how you're supposed to manifest anyway. You're supposed to be able to kind of give it up to the universe and then just be in receiving mode and it'll come back to you. But the point is that the divine doesn't always do things in your time frame, on your expectations of how quickly it should manifest. And people call it divine timing, call it whatever you want. What I have found with myself is that with a manifestation of the scale that I'm manifesting, oftentimes the divine will wait to bring in your manifestation, even if you're in the right mindset, until the divine gives you certain, you could call it tests, until you learn certain things that aren't necessarily directly impeding the manifestation, but are things that the divine deems are important for you to understand before your manifestation comes in. My manifestation, because of the scale of it, and because of the amount of things that I'm manifesting, my guidance around why it's taking as long as it is because when you receive a large, let's say the money aspect of my manifestation, let's say I received a large quantity of money suddenly, unexpectedly. Receiving that pulls you out of the state of like seeking, because suddenly you're like, oh my God, I have all this money. What am I going to do with it? And like, da, 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 da. You like get off on this tangent over here, and having the money come in before you learn or before you discover some of the things that the divine is trying to show you will distract your senses away from where you need to be. And so it will be delayed or take longer, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because the divine is trying to get you fully prepared for what you're manifesting. Like there's all these different aspects to what I'm manifesting. So if my money comes in and I'm like distracted by the money and I'm trying to learn this other thing so that I can attain enlightenment, and the money is going to pull me off my path, the divine foresees that, right? So you're going to not receive the money before you understand these other things. And I have found this to be the case in my own situation, because I definitely feel like I've been ready for my manifestations to come in. I'm not blocking myself anymore. There's nothing that I'm holding that is keeping me from my manifestations other than I gave it up to the divine. And the divine has decided that there are things that are necessary for me to fully grasp and learn and understand before the manifestation comes in, because I will be so excited when it does, right? Because it's, because you manifested your thing. And so that is a big component to it, is that do not be dissuaded if you're trying to do a big manifestation and you're like, where in the F is my manifestation? I have done all the work. I've healed from the past. I'm in the right mindset. I'm doing everything that I've been shown to do, because I felt that. I feel that in my bones. And I'm still waiting for it's particularly the money, because that is really the key in order to be able to pursue the enlightenment the way that I need to, because I need to get to India. The point is that I've gotten delayed multiple times, and I understand looking back on why I've been delayed. It's because I needed to understand certain things or learn certain things or see something from a different perspective before I was overly excited. And, because if the money comes in, I'm going to be booking my flight to India. We're going to be gone. And then there's all the aspects of the travel aspects. So it's very distracting for any internal work that I would still be doing. And so it's not conducive for me to receive the money until I'm done with the internal work, or until the divine has seen that I'm in a position to be done for now with the internal work. I just want to be clear, because I've seen so many videos where people are like, it should be instant if you're in the right mindset. And that's not true, especially if you're manifesting something big. If you're manifesting something large, it's not only about you, especially if what you're manifesting affects another person, or even more so, multiple other people. You will not receive the manifestation until those people are also in the right space to equally receive it. Let's say your manifestation, part of it is assisting other people or helping other people in some way. The people that you are meant to help have to also be ready for your help. If you're trying to manifest something and the people that you're trying to help are not ready for you yet, that will delay your manifestation, because otherwise you're putting work into, let's take my manifestation as an example. I'm here to attain enlightenment and help others do the same. Well, if the others that I'm supposed to be helping also attain enlightenment are not ready for that, me trying to attain enlightenment and then trying to put that out into the world to attract the right people. If the people aren't ready for me, I'm going to be expending energy that I don't need to be expending trying to pull in the people who are not ready for me. You know what I mean? It's like a gift. The divine is giving you a gift when you're delayed because there's always a good reason for it, is what I found. As frustrating as it is, because I have been manifesting this freaking manifestation for 40 years now. There was a stretch of time where I was not as actively manifesting it, but that's a long time to be holding a vision. That's a long ass time to be focused and be intending what you're wanting to manifest. That's a long time to be holding that vision. And it takes a lot of energy to hold a vision, especially of this magnitude, for that amount of time. I'm just saying it can feel very frustrating if what you're trying to manifest isn't coming in, but oftentimes you're being delayed to actually help you, because you would be expending energy and resources that you don't need to be expending trying to do what you're trying to do if the people aren't ready for you, kind of thing. If what you're teaching society isn't ready for, you're not going to be able to like get the traction that you need anyway, for example. And so if the world is not ready for you, that will also hold up your manifestation. So you might be ahead of the game where you did all your work, you healed all your things, you fixed your mindset or changed your mindset or saw it from a different perspective, and you're good to go. You're ready. Like, let's go, universe. The universe might be like, hey, why don't you take a rest? Why don't you take it easy for a little while? Because the divine knows that the people that you're here to help or whatever isn't ready for you. The world isn't ready for you yet. So it's like an actual help for you. I've also found that the time it takes to manifest something will be relative to the scale of the manifestation. If the manifestation affects other people, or if you need certain resources from, like, the universe is putting a puzzle together for you behind the scenes, right? These people are the people that you're going to help. Over here is where your support community is. Over here is where your financial resources are coming from, and here. You're meant to move over here in order to do the work that you need, so like all these different pieces to the puzzle, especially if you're doing a large scale manifestation, have to fall into place and have to be ready for you. Maybe the energetics of where you're supposed to move to are not conducive to what you're meant to do for another 2 months or something, so you're delayed. And it's never meant as a punishment. It's always for your benefit, and it's always to help you. And if you could start seeing it like that, it's going to help you be in the correct mindset, because as soon as you start going into, oh, like I'm doing something wrong, then your mindset is being changed into what isn't conducive to bring in the manifestation again. Not that you're starting over, because the energy stream is already going, right? You're already going. You just have to like pull yourself back into that correct mindset for the manifestation. Don't allow yourself to go back into mindset things that you've already cleared, because you're not seeing the external manifestation of what you're trying to pull in yet. Because I know from experience that can happen, and it is very frustrating to happen, because you're like, okay, I'm ready. Like, where is my manifestation? And thankfully I'm very connected to my guides, so I get a lot of intuitive hits around what is going on behind the scenes, and I often, particularly in retrospect, will finally understand a lesson that I had to go through and why, and that kind of thing. But it can be extremely frustrating to not see the physical manifestation of it yet, even though you're prepared for it. So I'm just saying, you have to be vigilant. Don't allow yourself to think that you're doing something wrong because your manifestation is not showing up in the physical yet, because that's not necessarily true. You have to use your discernment to decide, okay, is there still mindset, and oftentimes if I'm being delayed, I will go within and I will look at, okay, where has my mindset been? Where has my thinking patterns been? What has been happening? Has there been anything that's been triggering me in my external world? Because triggers are positive. They are meant to show you where healing can happen. And so if you're having a lot of triggers, likely you're needing to heal some things or clear some things before that manifestation can show up. But if that's not happening and you're in this odd feeling, like I've been in this almost void place for a while. I literally feel like I've released my entire previous life. That's what it feels like. All the work I've done to heal and to release and to change my mindset. I'm literally a different person than I was 6 months ago, 5 months ago, 4 months ago. I'm literally a different person. And my external world has not reflected that because there was so much energy of the past that I've let go. There was so much intertwined within all aspects of my body, my mental, physical, spiritual, that was intertwined with this past thing that I've released, that I've been in this void state in between the past and the future. It's not just being in the present, because that's different than what I'm talking. I mean, yes, it is being in the present, but it's like a different feeling than what I'm talking about. It's like this weird, you feel like disoriented and like you're in the black void of space. Like it just feels like you're floating in space and you're like, okay, thought I was headed toward this new beginning. Where's the new beginning? And it can take a while. And for myself, it feels like it's taken forever, but it really hasn't. It's been a few months where like I can mark the day on my calendar to where I healed and released the past. It was like that. It was seriously like I knew the instant that I had fully healed my past, finally. And I was like, okay, let's go. But then the universe was like, hey, you got to have this transitional period. You have to be willing to sit in this transitional period to get to your new beginning and not fall back into old patterns and behaviors. That is the key. I have to be very vigilant with myself and with my mindset and with a lot of things, not to feel disheartened because I'm in this weird in-between phase and it feels disorienting and it's hard to see where I'm headed. It's like foggy, which is not where I don't thrive in a holding pattern. I'm a very do person. I feel good when I'm moving. That's why I like to travel so much. It's like I feel so on point when I'm moving, and particularly when I'm traveling, I'm in my zone. I get really into the flow. That's when the magic can happen. But when I'm in kind of this odd holding pattern that the universe has designed for me, I guess you could say, it is very unpleasant for me. I'm not a naturally patient person. I'm impatient, and I do come across, I think, to other people as very grounded and patient, and I am those things. I shouldn't say I'm not patient, because I've realized over the holding pattern that I've been in recently and having this manifestation take as long as I have, I am very patient, but I don't prefer to be this patient. It's slow. I don't enjoy slowness, is more what it is. I enjoy quick. I'm very fast in general, mentally and physically. I'm a faster person, and that's just my comfort zone. The new beginning hasn't fully come in yet. I do get glimpses of it, and I know partially what I'm stepping into, but being in this in-between phase is very disorienting. I'm just saying this in this episode because I feel like I'm not the only one who has gone through this type of experience, and it can be very frustrating and very disheartening to feel like, why isn't the manifestation happening? But I feel like the old needs to completely release, and then there needs to be a void period where the old is no longer there and the new is not there, and you're just in the space, and then the new starts percolating in, and I'm in the starting to percolate, but I'm very beginning of that percolation into the new beginning. So I just wanted to share that aspect of it. But the universe does not see a small manifestation as different necessarily than a big manifestation, unless there's a lot of prongs. Now, let me give you an example. So the universe doesn't see manifesting $5 as different than manifesting $1 million. The universe, it is one and the same. It's manifesting money. So you can ask for $1,000 or you can ask for $1 billion, and the universe is like, yeah, sure. As long as it's written into your soul blueprint, so to speak, some people call it, where like you decided as your soul the things that you were here to accomplish and the things that you wanted to experience. And if in your soul blueprint, your soul decided, I don't want to be financially abundant, then you asking for financial abundance is going to go against your soul's desire, and you really can't supersede. Like you can, but it likely won't stick because you're not on the right path, so to speak, meaning the path that you set out for yourself. And so the universe, if you're trying to manifest something that is not in your blueprint, we'll keep calling it, the universe likely will give you many opportunities to recognize that you're not on the right path. And if you keep trying to push through that, you might get stronger no's from the universe. And if you keep trying to push through that, you might receive your manifestation, but then lose it right away. As one example, just because you get something and you lose it right away doesn't mean it necessarily was because of the example I just gave, just to be clear. But I'm just giving an example. And so the universe will often, they will try everything, and your guides will try everything to point you in the right direction of your soul path. That's why I wasn't able to manifest the financial abundance with my business, how I was operating it, and the things I was choosing to pursue in my business. It was not fully in alignment, and so it did not become financially. I understand that now. At the time, I didn't understand that. And also, it wasn't a lost cause. I was led to do the things I did in my business by my guides, because it was preparing me for this new beginning that I'm stepping into currently. So it wasn't like I was on the wrong path, but it didn't give me the financial abundance that I was desiring from that, because in my case, because it was not fully in alignment with my soul blueprint of what I was here to do. Now, my guide still led me down that path for a reason. There was a huge learning, and I got a lot of knowledge on how to run a business, on how to use technology. It was like I was given a trial run with my business in the past. And I'll get more into that in a different episode, because there's more to that. But the point is that to manifest $1,000 or to manifest $1 million, assuming it's within your soul blueprint to have, if it's not in your soul blueprint to experience large scale financial wealth, you will still be given what you need to accomplish what you're here to accomplish. If you want abundance, the universe is like, yes, here's your abundance. Now, there is karmic aspects to that. The universe may show you something, or some people may say teach you a lesson. If in previous lifetimes you used money to hurt other people, the universe may show you in this lifetime what it feels like to be hurt by people who used money against you. So there can be that aspect to it. That being aside, assuming it's not in your soul blueprint to experience severe poverty or those types of things, to manifest $1,000 and to manifest $1 million or $1 billion or whatever, from the universal standpoint, it is the same. But to your human brain, there is likely going to be a difference between manifesting 1,000 and manifesting 1 million. Like, to your human brain, 1,000 is probably attainable, but 1 million may or may not be attainable for you in your own mind. Like, you might have like ancestral trauma, like I talked about in the previous episode. You might have been taught that $1 million is completely out of the realm of possibility for you. You'll never see that in your lifetime, right? So because of that, the universe is willing to deliver no matter what number you're asking for, but if you have a mindset where $1 million is way out of the realm of norm, you're not going to be able to manifest that until you clear out those limiting beliefs or heal what needs to be healed within, in order for your mind to know that $1 million is within your grasp, is within the realm of possibility for you to attain. The universe is not sitting there like, oh, she's asking for too much. Or if it's not about money, like me asking for enlightenment, the universe isn't like, oh, how dare she ask for enlightenment? That's too much. No, the universe is like, oh, she's asking for enlightenment. Let's deliver it. In order for me to actually attain enlightenment, I have to know that it's possible. I have to believe that it's possible for me to attain enlightenment. And I have to have some understanding of what enlightenment actually is, because that's a kind of an obscure thing that is hard to define. And so if you don't actually have the full definition of what you're asking for, then the universe can't deliver it. If you are asking for enlightenment and you don't know what enlightenment actually means, then the universe can't deliver it. Or if your understanding of what enlightenment is different than what the yogis define it as, you're going to get what your definition is from the universe. And so that's another thing, is that you have to be entirely clear on what you're manifesting. And I'll get back to that in a second. But so you have to clear out anything that says that you can't have what you desire, or that you're not worthy of what you desire, or that what you desire is unattainable, or that what you desire is too much for somebody to ask for. You have to clear out all of those things in order for the universe to give it to you, because the universe will not supersede your own free will. That's what free will means. You have the free will to inadvertently block yourself. Like the power is all within you. The universe will not supersede your belief system. So if you believe that you are unworthy to have $1 million, even if the universe has the $1 million right in front of you, you will not be able to receive it because you have that belief. And so the universe can't push through your set of beliefs, because it's designed into this system that we're operating within, in this realm, that we have free will. And that means free will no matter what. That means you are entirely responsible for your reality. You are the only one that is able to block yourself from receiving what you desire. No one else can block you from that, although they can, by repetitively instilling certain belief systems in you as you're growing up, particularly, or anytime. Society, your family, your friends, whatever you've been surrounded with has likely permeated into your belief systems. And so in that sense, someone can keep you from it, but they can't forcefully keep you from it, meaning that once you realize that you're holding a belief that you don't want to believe, or that does not serve you, you can release that, and then you have the power to bring in your own manifestation. To manifest anything, you have to simultaneously clear out the crap that is keeping you from that manifestation, the beliefs, the unhealed aspects of yourself that, are subconsciously blocking you. Obviously, we're not like intentionally blocking ourselves, while actively working towards the manifestation, even if you're taking baby steps. So especially if you're doing like a huge, large scale manifestation, there's going to be a lot of things to clear out for the average or normal person. And I mean, really anybody, like I said, that's been born onto this planet is going to hold a lot of traumas, because it's so dense with traumatic experiences on a collective scale, on an individual scale, in the family lines, the things that are passed down from generation to generation. All of those things have made it very dense for anybody that's incarnating here. And you're going to end up inevitably with trauma unless your parents did the work to stop it and to end that. But then you're still going to get it from a societal level, and also on a cultural level. And like in the United States, the Black community is going to carry different trauma than the white community. That doesn't mean that they carry more trauma. It just means that they're carrying different trauma. It's all heavy. All of us are carrying heavy trauma. And, same with all the other races. Oftentimes our society looks at Black versus white. And so that's why I said it like that. The United States is going to experience different cultural trauma than Mexico. People born in the United States is going to hold in their DNA, in their bodies, they're going to be passed different traumas than somebody born in Mexico or somebody born in Russia or somebody born in China. There's different aspects to the trauma that you hold, but we are all holding the trauma. But the point is that in order to manifest, you're going to have to clear all that out in order to bring your manifestation, but you're also going to have to actively work towards your manifestation, even if you're taking baby steps. It's a multifold process when you're manifesting, and it has to be in alignment with your soul's plan in the first place. So if my soul's plan here is to attain enlightenment and everything else that I've mentioned, and I'm over here trying to manifest a successful career in finance, my guides and the universe are going to be giving me all kinds of signs like, hey, this is not what you're here to do. And, sometimes they'll let you go pretty far down that path. The signs will get louder the further down a detour you take, but sometimes the detours will give you information that you need for your path, and so they are divinely guided. So I think you get the point I'm trying to make. You're going to have to use discernment for yourself because no two paths are going to be the same. There are going to be similarities between different aspects of different paths, but the entirety of your life is so unique that you have to use your own discernment. Nobody can make those decisions for you. And also to manifest something, whether it be big or small manifestation, but particularly with larger scale manifestations, you have to be willing to never give up. No matter what comes into your path, you have to keep your eye on the prize and keep moving towards that. No matter what seems to be happening or not happening, you cannot drop the manifestation, because as soon as you start saying, oh, this is never going to happen, it's never going to happen. As soon as you release the manifestation and are like, oh, it didn't happen, it's not going to happen. You have to see it through no matter what. You have to be fully committed. And if there's something that you're manifesting that because it doesn't come in soon enough, you decide not to continue with the manifestation, that probably indicates that it wasn't in alignment with your soul's path anyway, unless you have beliefs around I'm unworthy and, certain belief systems that you're holding that are keeping you back. But something that you're manifesting that is totally in alignment with your soul's mission, my manifestation right now, for example, there is nothing that will happen that will deter me from completing this soul mission. I will do whatever it takes to bring this manifestation into the physical. I will do whatever it takes to accomplish this because it's an incessant drive within my soul, within my heart, within my mind. I could never put it down. In 40 years, there's not a day that has gone by where I have not thought about this manifestation. And I mean that for a large scale manifestation to be able to come in, how willing are you to hold that vision no matter what life throws at you? Spirit will test you to make sure that this is what you're really intending to do. Are you willing to hold this vision no matter what? No matter what seems to be happening in your life, no matter what barriers seem to be coming into your path, are you willing to see those barriers for what they are and continue down the path? You have to use discernment because sometimes those barriers are there to tell you, hey, this is probably not the path you want to be on. You want to do what's over here because that was what your soul chose and you're over here. So sometimes the barriers can indicate that you're not on the right path, which you can never not be on the right path because you'll still end up, it just might take a lot longer. I shouldn't say that. There are some people that never accomplish what they came here to accomplish because they didn't do their work because they couldn't hear their guides or hear spirit because they were so gummed up with all this trauma and shit that they're carrying around. And so they couldn't hear the universe trying to talk to them and let them know, like, over here is your path. But I'm just saying, as long as you're trying to be on your path, you can't take a wrong turn. Like, you're going to be steered in the right direction. The point is, what does this manifestation mean to you? What are you willing to go through in order to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish? With my manifestation, I have been given multiple detours and multiple times where spirit has seemingly taken me off of my path, which was never off my path, I now understand. But the detours were purposeful. They were there to ensure that I knew what I'm calling in, that I am willing to hold the vision of this manifestation no matter what happens, no matter what other people think of me. That's another thing, is that you have to be willing to continue to pursue your dreams and goals no matter what those around you are saying. How dumb you are, or how you're never going to accomplish that, or, why don't you just be normal? I've had these literal judgments put on me. Why can't you just get a job like a normal person? All of those judgments from other people. Are you willing to not take that to heart and to continue on your path? Like, how willing are you to pursue your goal? That's another aspect to manifestation. So the final thing that I wanted to get back to that I had kind of mentioned earlier was that you have to be entirely clear on what you're manifesting. And I mean specific, down to the very detail. When you particularly are manifesting a big, large-scale manifestation, but on any manifestation, you want to be entirely clear. I have found over the last 8 years, as I've been working very intently towards this manifestation, I have been asked by my guides and the universe to redefine what I'm asking for, because initially I was being more vague about what I was asking for. And there was a lot of limiting beliefs that I was holding that was causing me to not ask for what I actually wanted. And I wasn't conscious that I was doing it, obviously, at the time. There were beliefs around, that's too much to ask for, or I'm being greedy if I ask for that. Instead of asking for the specific dollar amount that I want, I would ask for, quote, a lot of money. Well, what is a lot of money? Who defines what a lot of money is? The universe is like, 10,000 and a million are the same energetics to me, right? So what exactly do you want? How much do you want? The universe is like, you can have what you want, but you have to be specific. What exactly are you asking for? I had mentioned this in regard to enlightenment a little earlier. When I was first asking for enlightenment, my guides in the universe and spirit was like, okay, what do you mean by enlightenment? Do you know what you're asking for? What do you define enlightenment? They're not just going to assume what you're asking for. You have to have clarity around that. I had to list, this is what I see as enlightenment. This is what I'm asking for. And I've had to redefine it multiple times. The universe has asked me to be more clear. I said about 8 years ago is when I started really digging into this. All right, we're on this path. Show me what to do. We're doing this. I'm done with everything else, with all the bullshit. Initially, they're like, okay, set your intentions, write them down. Like how many of the manifestation people say, but this is what my guides are telling me. Okay, write them down, be very specific. So I thought I was being very specific, but then I realized there was this part of me that feels like, oh, you're asking too much. Like, don't ask for that. Or how dare you ask for that particular thing? Or, oh my God, you're full of yourself for asking. There were these things running in the background of my mind that were affecting how I was putting down my own manifestation in my own journal that nobody else was going to see. That's the crazy part of the of this mind aspect of it. I didn't feel worthy of asking for what I truly wanted. I didn't feel I was worthy to ask for the type of love that I was asking for. When I initially made my intentions, and then a year or a year and a half would pass, and I'd be working on doing the steps that my guides would show me, that honestly in the beginning did not feel like steps towards my manifestation, but now I understand that they were. I was in training. I've been in training for the last 8 years. A year and a half later, they're like, okay, define what your manifestation is. And I'm like, I already did this. But then when I sat down to actually do it, I was being too vague. Okay, I need to be more specific. All right, let's write this down again. And then I would, and then again, I would be led to do certain tasks and certain things for a couple of years. And then year and a half, year, 2 years, I would get the message again, write down your manifestation. The first couple of times I was frustrated. I already did this. I already know what I want. And then I realized, no, they're having me be more specific because the universe is going to deliver exactly what you ask for. They are not going to assume anything. They're not going to know that you said this, but you really meant that. So you better be certain that what you're asking for is exactly what you're wanting. Because oftentimes there are things blocking our ability to understand that we're not being clear, or we're not asking for the exact thing that we want because we think it's too much, or, we're not worthy, or whatever the case may be. I've redefined my intentions, even though the overall manifestation that I've done has been these 3 prongs the whole time. But it's the sub-context of those things are what I was redefining. Because when I write out my manifestation, I write, attain enlightenment, and then I write down bullet points about what I mean by that. And I do that with all of the aspects of the manifestation. It was the bullet points that I wasn't being clear on, or I wasn't asking directly for what I want, because being direct was difficult for me. So it was an exercise in empowerment, having to redefine that manifestation over and over again. Now I'm like, I don't care. I'm asking for what I want. I deserve it. I'm worthy to ask for what I actually want, and I'm worthy to receive what I want. And what I want is not too much. What I want is not unacceptable. You know what I mean? And so that's another aspect that I have learned over the course of this manifestation process, is to be very specific, very detailed of what you're asking for. Particularly if you're trying to manifest something big, do not be vague, because first of all, vagueness, they can't really give you what you're asking for if you're not being specific. If your wording is off and you're asking for this and you're meaning this, you're going to get what you're asking for. And so oftentimes, if your manifestation is not coming in, that could be part of why, because your guides are like, I recognize that you are wanting this, but you're actually asking for this. So we need to make sure that you're actually defining what you want before we can give it to you. So I think I'm going to leave that here. I'm wrapping up this episode at this juncture. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week.